You know how you get a text alert from the delivery driver before your food arrives, so your hungry kids stop freaking out? Vonage does that.
So, hello everyone, welcome back to the PyCon Malaysia 2021. Uh, Here I am again. I'm Ashraf Kipling for your moderator for the second talk on the track 2. Today we will have our guest is Tonya Sims. Let's welcome her. Hello, Miss Tonya.
Hi everyone. Hi Ashraf.
So, today we will having Tonya Sims to give a talk about where is it? About Faceoff fun with Python frameworks, FastAPI versus Flask. Okay, for your information, okay, Tonya Sims is currently as a Python developer advocate at Vonage, and yeah, that's a lot lah. Okay, without further ado, we will give Tonya Sims to give her speech, to give her talk. Okay, so Miss Tonya, the floor is yours.
Thank you, Ashraf. Okay. See if everyone can see my screen. Okay, great. You can see my screen. So yes, welcome to the fun face-off between Flask 2.0 and FastAPI. So just sit back and relax because let's go on a hero's journey together for the next 25 minutes or so. So I feel your pain, right? So imagine you're like banging your head against the wall at work, trying to choose between Python web frameworks, Flask, and FastAPI. You're caught up in this vicious cycle. You choose one, then you want to choose the other one, and you just keep going back and forth. And as if your day couldn't get any worse, your boss comes in to you on a Friday with 15 minutes left in your day and says, I need a huge favor. And you're thinking to yourself, oh my God, like what could he possibly need right before the weekend? He says, we just want our biggest customer ever, and I need you to choose the Python web framework today. You're like, today? I'm not sure if you can do it because you have have plans with your friends and your family or tonight, and besides, your tech lead is not in the office at the moment. So you commit the cardinal sin and you ask your boss, can I do it on Monday? Your boss looks angry and he starts shaking and trembling. Then his body becomes engulfed in a tornado and he's swallowed right in the middle of it and his skin is ripping apart. And he turns into the evil internet ice lady. And you're like, okay, what the shapeshifter heck is going on here? And she evilly laughs like, ha ha ha, you will choose between Flask 2.0 and FastAPI today, or else I will use my powers to freeze the internet forever. So you quickly think to yourself, oh my God, if the internet is frozen, I won't be able to watch the Avengers or binge watch Loki. Then you say to the evil internet ice lady, okay, I'll do it under one condition. I need to Slack message one person. And so with malice in her voice, she asks, who might that be? You say, my tech lead. So hi, everyone. My name is Tonya Sims, and I am a former pro athlete. I played professional basketball in Europe. I'm now a Pythonista. So along with Python, you may see some sports references during this story today. I'm currently a Python developer advocate at Vonage, which is a leading communications API provider. You can use our APIs to build applications using like video, voice, text messaging, and many more things. Our customers range from those in the telehealth industry to insurance to startups. So before we continue with our hero's journey with our story and our Flask 2.0 versus FastAPI Faceoff, I definitely want to set some expectations. And those are, I might go back to the basics sometimes because everyone here might be at different learning stages. And I don't know about you, but when I first learned how to code, it felt like my head was going to explode. What was your coding journey like when you first started coding, and how is it going now? I would love to learn more about you. So if you just type in the chat, and we can talk about it once this talk is complete. And also, if you like sports, if you play sports, if you have any favorite sports teams, type it in the chat, and we can talk more about it later. So back to our story. So you just finished messaging your tech lead, and she gave you a major pep talk. She reminded you of all the hard work you put in over these last 6 months and all the new things you've learned. And she just gave you a ton of confidence. So now you're feeling super like Superman or Superwoman, and you feel confident that you can pass the Evil Ice Ladies challenge and save the world from frozen internet. So let our face-off of Flask 2.0 and FastAPI begin. So the evil internet ice lady barks at you and she says, "Tell me how Flask and FastAPI are alike." So you say, well, both are high performance and lightweight Python web frameworks. They're known as micro frameworks and they're stripped down without all the bells and whistles. So it allows for flexibility. Then she says, okay, tell me how they are different. And you say, well, one is battle tested and the other one is a little newer. One comes with lots of built-in libraries, and the other one you have to install some extensions. The evil internet ice lady scrunches her nose at you. Then she demands you to tell her how to get a quick Hello World application up and running in both Flask and FastAPI. So you say, okay, there's two things to understand when running your Hello World application. The first are decorators, right? So decorators are functions which modify the functionality of other functions. And they start with the @ symbol, followed by the name of the decorator. You continue. So you can think of it like decorating a cake. It starts with something, then you modify it by adding the frosting, the flowers, and the sprinkles. The next thing to understand is what a route is. So a route maps a function to a URL. So it knows which web page to take a user to making the request. You're feeling confident that you're answering the evil ice lady's questions and you're on a roll. Then you explain the code as the evil internet ice lady gawks at you. You say, in versions of Flask prior to version 2.0, the app.route is the decorator, and it's routing or mapping this function home to the URL. In this case, it's a \, which is like the root or the index page, and returns hello world. In Flask 2.0, things get much simpler. Route decorators were added for common HTTP methods like GET, and it still maps to the function home and returns hello world. It gets served up on port 5000 by default, but you can always change the port if you like. It's pretty flexible like that. You continue. Flask 2.0 was very similar to FastAPI with a simple GET route. So in FastAPI, From the beginning, FastAPI uses an HTTP method in the route, right? In FastAPI, all the HTTP verbs like get, post, put, delete have their own decorators, and this one also returns a dictionary with hello world. FastAPI gets served up on port 8000 by default, but you can change the port if you like. Once again, it's very flexible, and it also returns hello world in the browser because this is a GET request. So both require little code to get a hello world app up and running. The evil ice lady is looking even more evil. I don't know how that's possible, but it is. And she says, well, let's see what you know about running in development. So you take a deep breath. Then you say, okay, run code locally in your machine first, right? That's what running in development is. So you don't put error-prone code in production. So to run in development in Flask, from your command line, you have to export your main Python file, which is, in this case, it's called app.py. Then you have to run the Flask development server by running flask run. But if you want to make a code change, you'll have to keep restarting the development server every time. So in order to keep the development server running, you have to export development into the flask_env variable. With FastAPI, running in development is pretty awesome. You say FastAPI uses something called hot reloading. Hot reloading keeps the app running when you're making code changes, so you don't have to keep restarting the development server every time you make that change. And all you have to do is just pass in the reload flag in the terminal. And to start the server, you just type unicorn space main:app, where main is the name of your Python file, right? You're running, so it's like main.py. And Unicorn is a lightning fast server that allows your applications to perform faster. So to recap, hot reloading will save you lots of development time because your application reloads automatically anytime you change the code. The evil internet ice lady says, that is correct, but how would you execute an HTTP method like a post request? You take a drink of water, like I'm going to do now. You clear your throat. Then you take in another deep breath and you say, HTTP methods are action-oriented verbs. We've already covered how to do a GET, which is a read-only. It's read-only. So let's see how to do a POST in Flask and FastAPI. A POST request is for creating a resource, right? It's like you're submitting data like a form to the server. In Flask, prior to 2.0, let's say we have this list of dictionaries called teams. Here, and you see my team name is Milwaukee Bucks, which is a sports team here, my favorite sports team. And then you say to the evil ice lady, in previous versions of Flask, you'd have to pass in a list called methods to the decorator and specify the type of request, which is a post. Flask 2.0 makes it much easier, just like we saw with our GET request. All you have to do is specify the HTTP method, which is post, in the decorator. So that's why you have the at symbol app.post, which is the HTTP method. And then this is your new team you'd like to create or to add to your existing list of dictionaries. So you want to add a new team, which is the Phoenix Suns, with different players, and then you just return it by using JSONify, which turns a Python dictionary to JSON so the server can interpret the data. But if you pull up the browser right now using this post request and you go to the route, you're actually going to get a 405 method not allowed error because this is a post request. And by pulling up a web page, that's doing a GET request. So it's a little different. So you have to use an external tool called Postman. And Postman acts as a client. So as you can see, Postman acts as a client, so you can see your post request and the data you created in JSON format. You continue to the Evil Ice Lady. Flask 2.0 is very much like FastAPI when it comes to post requests. So in FastAPI, provides separate decorators for each HTTP method. So get, post, delete, put, each has their own separate decorator and method. So with FastAPI, you don't have to use a tool like Postman to test your post request. So, and the Evil Ice Lady is like super angry right now, and she totally interrupts you, and she says, yes, I know with FastAPI, you don't need Postman. So tell me about how you test your post request using automatic documentation. And she thinks she's going to trip you up here. Take another deep breath in, because you know this answer will be very important. And you can't screw up now, right? You come too far. So you explain to her, automatic documentation is an interactive API documentation where you can see your requests in the browser, such as post requests, and interact with them like passing in data, and see what you get back. So if you're doing a post request, you can see the response that you get back from the server. It's like magic that'll make your life easier, and you don't even need Postman. So this is how automatic documentation in FastAPI works. FastAPI is based on something out of the box called Pydantic. So there's also no need to install it because, like I was saying, it comes out of the box. Pydantic is a framework for easily modeling and validating data. Pydantic also does data validation and uses something called Python type hints, which is a fairly new feature in Python. You get friendlier data validation errors, which reduces debugging time. And you continue. Type hints are what they sound like, right? They hint at the variable type you're using. And they help to document code and to catch bugs sooner. An example would be like this variable here, player underscore ID. That's the variable name, followed by a colon and the type of followed by the type, which is integer or int. Pydantic also works together with Swagger UI with automatic documentation, which allows you to visualize and interact with your APIs. So to create the Pydantic model for automatic documentation, you would use Pydantic, and you would import the base model like from Pydantic, import base model. And so our class that you're about to see will inherit from that base model. So for example, if inheritance works like this, is both your parents have brown eyes, it's highly likely you'll have brown eyes as well. And inheritance and object-oriented programming works the exact same way. So here we're importing base model, okay, from Pydantic. And we have a class called player that inherits from base model, and we're declaring variables as type hints within this class. So you see the first variable there, player underscore name, that's the variable name, string, str, which is the type. And inside of our function definition, we have a parameter we're passing in called request that is of type player. So this is actually a type hint as well. Okay, and it returns a dictionary, as you can see here. But you say to Evil Ice Lady, okay, this is like the boring part of automatic documentation. So let's get to some really awesome stuff for automatic documentation. To access your automatic documentation, all you have to do is just go to your local host /docs in your browser. Excuse me, and you'll see a schema. Okay, which is a skeleton for your model with your variables that you just declared in the class that we just saw. And you can see which variables are required or optional. The required variables have a red asterisk next to their name. You can also try it out by clicking the try it out button and test your API endpoints by passing in values for the variables. You click the execute button, which will give you the response body or what the server will receive for the post request. So you can see the response body here. You also get back a curl request. It lets you talk to a server by sending data, right? Making a request through the command line. That's what a curl request does. And it generates it for you. The documentation does in FastAPI. So you don't have to write it from scratch, which is really nice. I'm not sure if you've ever written curl from scratch before, but it's not the most fun. So this is a really nice perk. Flask, there's no built-in feature for documentation generation in Flask, so you have to use the Flask Swagger extension, which requires lots of configuration, and it doesn't come out of the box with Swagger either. So automatic documentation comes out of the box with FastAPI. You don't have to install anything. And it uses Pydantic out of the box. The evil internet lady, ice lady, creeps closer to you, right? And she sticks her icy finger in your face and demands you to tell her about data validation and why it's important. So you continue. Well, data validation uses our friend Pydantic again. An example of data validation in FastAPI would be something like this. So we can create a class, okay, this class here that inherits once again from base model, our Pydantic model, with type hinted variables. Once again, username, string, password type string, and agree to terms, which is an optional variable, and it's a Boolean. So in our function here for the data validation, we are checking if the username equals Jane Doe and the password equals the password of 12345. If it does, it's a success. If not, we are generating an error message of authentication failed. So when you use automatic documentation for data validation, we click the try it out button once again, and let's say we pass in none to the username, but we keep the password the same and agree to terms. It's optional value, so it doesn't matter if we pass anything in. So we're just saying we're going to stay true here. So Pydantic is going to work its magic. You'll get a friendly message, right, telling you exactly what the error is, here highlighted in pink. And the error is expecting value, which is true because we passed none a username, so it's expecting a value and doesn't have one. In Flask, Pydantic does not come out of the box. But you can install it using the powerful Pydantic package for data validation by just doing pip install flask-pydantic. So with FastAPI, you get Pydantic out of the box, which will give you friendly error messages and reduce the time spent debugging, which is always nice. So the evil internet lady is furious. Oh my God, she's so mad. And she calls you a know-it-all. Then she asks, well, what if I want to create a web page? What's this template folders business? You can feel you're coming down to the home stretch, and so you're a little bit more relaxed. You get your confidence up. And so you continue to say, well, the templates folder stores your HTML files if you want to build a web application. In Flask, by default, Flask looks for HTML templates in a templates folder that you'll have to create. And it stores your HTML files here, for example, like index.html or players.html. You have to use something called Jinja to display your variables in HTML. Jinja is just like a templating engine that allows you to write code similar to what Python looks like to display HTML in your web applications. For example, here's your HTML file, and here's your Jinja. So to display variables in Jinja, you just surround them. You surround the variable with double curly braces, like so. In FastAPI, you have to install Jinja. It doesn't come packaged with FastAPI, and you have to also define the templates folder in your code. So when you install Flask, you get Jinja out of the box, which is really nice. It's a really good perk of Flask. At this point, Ice Lady is standing directly in front of you, like so close to you that you can like taste her icy breath, right? And her arms are folded and her veins are popping out of her forehead, and she grunts, "Last thing, running in production." You can almost smell victory at this point, but you don't want to give up now. So you say, "Going live so the whole world can see." That's running in production. In FastAPI, production is pretty marvelous because it uses something called ASGI, which is a very, very lightning fast web server. And it's lightning fast because ASGI is asynchronous. So imagine this. You have a bunch of requests coming in, and they don't have to wait for the other ones to complete or finish before they start processing. So there's overlap between your requests, which is much faster. So you can think of it like ordering food at a restaurant, so you can order food, and other people don't have to wait for you to order their food either. And the restaurant workers are continuously taking orders, cooking, and serving food. With Flask uses something called WSGI, or Python Web Server Gateway Interface. It's been the standard in Python for many years now. WSGI is synchronous, so it's opposite of what the ASGI asynchronous web server offers. So synchronous works like this. So imagine you have a bunch of requests coming in. Once again, each request has to wait in line for the others before it to complete. Okay, so there is no overlap. It's kind of like a queue data structure where it uses FIFO, or like first in, first out. And you can even think of it like waiting in line at the movie theater, and you're at the end of the line, and you have to wait until the other people in front of you get their ticket. So that's kind of how synchronous web server works. So ASGI makes for faster performance in your web applications because of the way they process requests asynchronously. It's one of the biggest perks of FastAPI, and it's why it's called FastAPI and why it's fast. The evil Ice Lady is super angry, and she pulls out her sword and she puts it to your neck, and she says, "Okay, I need you to choose a winner right now. Which Python web framework is the winner?" So you think to yourself, okay, this is a trick question, and you're feeling conflicted. So this is how you answer. My winner? This is how I would choose. Use Flask for this. It's battle tested, right? It's been around for a long time. It's reliable. Use Flask if you want to, do a quick prototype, because it's been the standard for so long. That's what most people are used to. Use Flask if you want to create a web application. Use FastAPI for this if you want to increase your development speed time and performance. If you want to reduce errors and bugs because of type hinting and Pydantic, and use FastAPI for API development, as it will become the standard in the near future and many years to come. Ice Lady lunges toward you, and you remember what your tech lead said earlier when you Slack messaged her. She told you to kill the evil Ice Lady to say these words 3 times. Melt, melt, melt. and the evil ice lady melts away forever. The internet is restored to the world, and you get to binge watch all your favorite shows again. You are the hero. The end. Okay, so hope you enjoyed my little story. We have a freebie for you. This is actually a coupon code to try out our APIs. We give you like some credit to buy some numbers and to do some really cool things with our APIs, voice, messages, SMS, video. I know I'm missing some in there as well. It's redeemable until October 16th, 2021. So you can take a screenshot of this, or somebody can, I think somebody said they were going to put it in the chat as well. So thank you so much for your time today. And also thank you to PyCon Malaysia conference. I would love to hear from you. And this is where you can find me on Twitter. I'm just at Tanya Sims. So thank you so much. Let me go to the comments here and see if there's any comments. Ooh, there's a lot of comments. Okay. Let me go to the top here. Oh, Clarice. Awesome. Thank you, Clarice, for your warm welcome here. Just trying to see if there's any questions here. Somebody says PyCon Malaysia. Oh, sorry. Okay. Ooh, interesting. Somebody asked, I am curious if we use Flask plus Redis. Ooh, that's a good question. Would that be comparable to FastAPI? I'm actually not sure about that question, to be honest with you. It depends on if Redis is like, if they're asynchronous in nature. I mean, that's one of the main benefits of using FastAPI, right? Because it uses the ASGI web server, which is asynchronous, and you don't have to wait for those requests to finish processing before the request comes through. So that's one of the benefits of FastAPI. So, okay, let's see here. Oh, it says PyCon. Somebody, okay, I think PyCon Malaysia is saying PyCon Malaysia 2021 runs on Flask, so maybe we can move to FastAPI. Yes, I think that would be, well, I wasn't supposed to pick a winner, but but yeah, I think I feel like the future, right, is going to be FastAPI. Even if you do like a Google search right now for FastAPI, try like fast space API. There were close to like 9 billion search results in Google for FastAPI, and not as many for Flask. But I just think because, like, I feel like I'm repeating myself so much, but I just think because of the asynchronous nature of FastAPI, I feel like more people are definitely going to be moving to that, and moving towards FastAPI, even for PyCon Malaysia, would be a good choice too. Any questions? Oh. Hi, Tanya. I do work on Internet of Things, IoT, so to develop like dashboard to display data, charts, and graphs is Flask 2.0 is Flask 2.0 suitable? Yeah, I would say it's suitable for that. I'm curious to know what you use to display data. I'm curious because I just started reading up on a tutorial on Seaborn, so I'm not sure if that's what you use for displaying of data. Yeah, I think Flask 2.0 is very suitable, and I hope I didn't make it seem like Flask 2.0 is horrible. I mean, it's still definitely a even before Flask 2.0, it's a very reliable framework. It's a micro framework too, so it is going to be faster than some of the other frameworks. But yeah, so I think it would be a good choice for that. So you might even want to build what you're doing on FastAPI as well, and maybe compare the two and see which one is faster for that. Do the speakers share their slides? Yeah, I can definitely share my slides. Yeah, I can share my slides, and then they can I'm sure PyCon Malaysia or the organizers can send them out to everybody, so you'll have them as well. Yeah, cool. Good questions. Oh, thank you. Arif says nice story. Thank you. I wasn't sure if it was too silly, but it's just kind of how my brain works. I'm a storyteller. I love the story structure, the hero's journey, and yeah, that's just how I learn. I have a quirky little brain. So, what would you suggest would be? So here's a question. Sorry. There we go. Thank you. Ooh, what you suggest would be Flask for front end, while FastAPI as API for web app structure. So I think you're asking like what front end should you use with Flask? I mean, you could use any and with FastAPI. You could use any front end, I guess. Like I don't know, like a React or there actually might be some tutorials on the FastAPI documentation about how to build front ends, what front end technology to use with FastAPI. I mean, you could use anything really. I mean, React, Angular, Vue, one of those frameworks as well. I have not played around a lot with those. Although that's not totally true. I have used a little bit of React, so that's what I'm most familiar with. So I guess I would choose that one. And by the way, FastAPI has amazing documentation, you guys. So like if, I mean, it reads like a story, actually, the documentation. So it's very simple to kind of like learn things and to pick up from the documentation. And you don't have to even Google as much. So. And then PyCon Malaysia is saying, for the reason for me to ask that because Flask comes with, Jinja. Yeah. I mean, you can totally build like a, web application using Flask and FastAPI using Jinja, but if you want something a little bit more dynamic, because Python is more server side, like you would have to probably use, use like a JavaScript, a front end framework like React or Angular. Yeah. There's another comment that just came in for for some async calls using JavaScript, FastAPI will actually be better since it's asynchronous. Exactly. Yes. And FastAPI also supports out of the box, once again, Python's asyncio library with the async and await keywords. Flask 2.0 actually just recently started support for asyncio library, but you have to install it, which takes a few seconds. But with FastAPI, it just comes out of the box with async support. So. Cool. Any more questions? Surprised no one's asked me about basketball yet. About there's no sports questions. Oh, cool. Okay, so there's PyCon is saying that will definitely improve PyCon's website performance for the next round upgrade. Yes, it will. And let me know how what you feel like, if the speed or the performance has increased. I'm really curious to find out like when you guys make that change to FastAPI. So. So I think we have a couple more minutes if anybody wants to ask any more questions or let me know if you've tried FastAPI, if you think you will try it in the near future. I gotta tell you though, like when I started using FastAPI, God, it really made a lot of the web development concepts in Python more clear for me. And I can't reiterate this enough, but Fast API documentation it's absolutely amazing. I think you're going to really like the documentation. And after reading through the documentation, I was really able to grasp some of the concepts that maybe I'd been kind of like struggling with before. I was able to grasp them, a lot quicker and more, and get in more deep too as well. I was able to get deeper into some of the web concepts after using FastAPI. So. Yes. So wanted to migrate a simple app from Node.js to Python. Base web framework was negative Flask. Yeah, now yes. Please look into FastAPI. Definitely. Yep. Sorry. Hi, Ashraf.
Hi. uh, just now my laptop is shutting down. Just I'm using my phone right now for continuing this session. Yeah, because I'm outside right now, so my laptop is working from earlier of the morning. So there you go.
Was your laptop doing like an update? You said.
You will see. If we don't have any questions, maybe if anyone have any question after the.
Was your laptop doing like an update? You said.
What? After the synchronizing here. Okay. If there any ways to ask or to communicate with you, Tonya, after the session end, if the audience have any question regarding of the session, regarding of the talk you just have just now?
Yeah, I mean, they could always reach me on Twitter. I'm just at Tanya Sims, TONYASIMS. And then, I mean, my DMs or direct messages are always open for people. So if you ever want to chat, just please shoot me a message there, or tweet me, follow me. I'll follow you back on Twitter. If you don't have Twitter, I'm trying to think of how you can contact me. Like through Vonage has like a community email as well. You can contact me there if you have questions too. Yeah, so I'm very easily accessible.
Okay. So since there's nothing else the audience asks, so I think.
Oh, thank you, Clarice. She just posted my Twitter.
Yeah. I will just pop it up on the screen so the audience can see.
Thank you.
Okay. So if you, the audience, have any question about the API or FastAPI and the Flask, and you can contact Tanya Sims at her Twitter and yeah, have a nice chat with her since she is very friendly.
Thank you.
Okay. I think that's all for the session, for the talk for now. So thanks having Miss Tonya.
Well, I think you're breaking up a little bit, Ashraf. I think you said I think we're gonna end the session. I think that's what you were saying.
We're back. We're back. Okay.
Okay.
Okay. Thank you, everyone, for for joining us in PyCon Malaysia 2021. So see you next on the next session.
Thank you, everybody, for
Yeah.
coming. Stop by.
Thank you. Thank you, everyone. Okay. Bye bye.
Bye.
Bye.